So I'm gonna keep it like all the way 100 with y'all. I did not know what to make, so I was really in my head. I'm not even gonna lie. I I honestly just like I know what I want to make, but I want to make sure that when I make that stuff, I make it well. In terms of what I'm talking about today, because like I still have things to do. I'm gonna show you guys some stuff in this video, but I wanted to like really talk about two things that I think are important that really like got my brain going when I couldn't make stuff, which is like intent and practice. Those are the two things that like I really meditated on in the like last couple of weeks, and I'll explain that in a minute. But before I go any further, like really I got to get a grip on this. I should really introduce myself before I just start talking. So my name is Daryian. For all of y'all that are new here, welcome to the channel. For those of y'all that are not new here, well, you already know what's about to go down. So let's go. First of all, this right here is called the SCGPH cut. What is that? This is a bass drum porthole cutter. So, first order of business. We have to put a port in the Yamaha bass drum head because there isn't a port, and I do want to use this logo head for now until something else comes about. But what does this have to do with intent and practice? Well, I'll tell you. The only reason why I'm doing this is because, well, if you watched the last video, you found out how I experiment with drums. And the way that I like to experiment with especially new drums is by playing them wide open. So the bass drum currently doesn't have anything in it, and also there's no hole in the bass drum. So it's a very round, boomy sound that I'm getting out of the bass drum right now. Also, I do want to mic these drums because I need to start working on pre-production for my band Serious Matters. Meaning, I need to start writing drums, and I want to write on drums that are going to sound like what I want them to sound like on the record. I spent a lot of time getting tones for myself because I just love the way drums sound. So like I spent a lot of time thinking about this, especially when it comes to like the direction of where we're going with songs and things like that. But in order to get to that point, we first must cut a hole in the bass drum head. Now, I do already have a video of how to use one of these. It is with a different porthole cutter, but they work exactly the same. This has different size pins, or rather different size holes inside of it that allow you to move this pin, so it makes it very adjustable. And it also has a blade on the tip of it. So what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to look inside of these holes, and they actually have different sizes. So there's 2 inches, 3 inches, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10 inches is the maximum size porthole that you can cut. So I am going for a 4-inch porthole because I want to try to get a tighter sound out of this. I don't know. I'm kind of just trying stuff, to be really honest. But there is a reason behind, you know, trying it this way. So I'm going for, let's see. Do I want it on the left side? Well, I've done both. I'll put it on the right side. So that one over there. So I found where I want it. And also on this bass drum head, there is a control ring here. So I normally cut on the right on the inside of that, so I don't actually have to measure. I just gotta make sure that the head is in the right orientation, the way I want it. And then for me, I'm just gonna, what you do is you take this, plop it down so you can set your point, and the pin will mark that point for you so you have a pivot. And it's almost like if you ever used a protractor before in school, it's the same exact idea. So you just plot it down and then you spin around that point. It's very easy to do. You kind of have to like really work your way through there a little bit to get it, to cut all the way through. It's going to take you a couple tries. So, it's going to take you a minute. And since I know it's going to take me a minute, I'm going to talk to you about those things that I mentioned before. But before I do that, I want to change this angle so you can actually see what I'm doing here, rather than me just, doing it and you can't actually see what's going on here. So it's not helpful to you. Let me help you out here. 1 second. There you go. That should be better. First of all, the only reason why I'm doing this is because I plan to do something, That's what like intent is, right? What do you plan to do? And then subsequently, you should act on what you plan to do. Now, pro tip, because you're not doing it, I'm not doing this right. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to find a flat surface. I don't have a flat surface here, so I'm making do with what I got. You would think, because I've done this before, that I would know how to do it. But see, that's the thing. Practice, right? I've only done a video about this one other time. Most other times when I do this on my own because I find this to be very relaxing. See here? Like, it's very simple. All you got to do is just keep going back and forth. The only reason why I'm doing this particular task is because I intend to use it for something. And intent also very, very much practically goes with practice. Because when you practice, like, what is the purpose of you sitting down and practicing? Like, what do you plan to accomplish? Are you sitting down to practice chops? Like, do you want to be fluent? Do you want to be proficient, like, in a language on your instrument? Or are you sitting down to just jam and play songs? I mean, no judgment if that's what you want to do. But I think the way to success, especially if you want to grow as a player and to get better, is to understanding intent when it comes to practicing. Because you can sit around all day and play double stroke rolls and just play double stroke rolls. But if one day you decide you want to play rudiments around the drum set, well, how do you make that possible? Well, first, you have to want to do it. Like, that's intent. You have to want to do it, right? And if that's what you want to do, then you will take, if that's something you truly, truly love and you want to do, you will take every step possible to make sure that something like that can happen. Most of us would. Now, see, I did mess this up here, but you see how this works. It's very easy to do, right? See my porthole? Gotta get that last little bit off. Now, I will say this little ring here does make this a little harder to smoothly go around and get this off, but I have done it successfully a number of other times. You can tell because I have the other ones on. There you go, porthole. Now that that's done, now I need to muffle the bass drum. Because my intent here, see what I'm doing? What I intend to do is to practice playing some double bass patterns because I haven't done that in a while. But my intent with practicing double bass patterns is to be able to be fluent in creativity so that when I want to use that, I can use that, right? I think it is very much in our best interest as musicians to sit down and really examine what we are trying to accomplish every time we sit behind the drums. Because I know me personally, I have goals of wanting to, tour and things like that. But like, how, Like, I've toured in my band Serious Matters, but that's a rock band. If I was to be like really honest with myself, do I really want to tour and play really big festivals with like pop artists? Sure, I would love to do that. I would love to drum tech for all of them. I would love to even play for all of them. But also, like, would I be fulfilled by that? Because although the intent is to tour, the intent is to be fulfilled and happy and do all those things. And I think I would be more fulfilled if I was doing that with my bros, with my guys, with my friends, not just because it's a job. Because then when it's just a job, then it's, it's just that you could love what you do and hate your job. When it comes to practice, we don't want to like make practice so cumbersome that we hate to do it, right? So if we have intent, right, the goal is to do X, then that should make practicing a lot easier, because you're not practicing because someone told you to. You're practicing for your intended reason. You're practicing for you. Again, I'm just kind of spitballing here. Like this is just what I've just been thinking about. I mean, feel free to add to this conversation down in the comments. But I guess what I'm saying is practicing isn't always the most glamorous thing, but it is the most necessary thing so that you can build up your arsenal of tools to achieve that goal you want to achieve. Before I go any further, I need to put this actually on the drum. So I'm going to first get over there and move this around. We'll make some adjustments because I also got to tune the bass drum. So, I'll show you the process. Give me like 2 seconds. All right. No, we are not having a sleepover. Ooh, yes. I'm gonna use this for a little bit of muffling. And also, if I ever decide to take this outside, I now can put a mic inside of here and not worry about messing up my bass drum. But I could also just use this like this, which I've thought about. And now that thought's leaving my head. So, yeah. I don't know, doing things for you is important, but I guess, your why is why we do things. And I guess that was the thing that was like really bothering me was like, the reason why I make these videos is because I find joy in drums. I also find joy in making these videos, but sometimes like I just want to play drums. I just don't want to feel like, I have to do social media or I have to post videos. But I think I do. It's the feeling of I have to, the feeling of I have to versus I want to, right? I want to be really great at drums. I want for all of you to enjoy these videos. I want for you to learn something in these videos. I don't want to make bad stuff. By bad stuff, I mean stuff that won't give you any value. And I think that's what I'm so stuck on is like, I don't know, I find this stuff valuable because like I really like drums. But I've often been around people who aren't as fascinated by drums as I am. But it's like, no, there's like a whole world. It's called music. And like, it's not just the drums, right? Like drums is the instrument that I play that I find home in. But like, I love all things about music. And particularly how drums play a role in that music, like rhythms and things like that. So like, whenever I sit down to play, with a band or something like that, the intent is to always have fun and to be as creatively free as I possibly can. But that takes practice. And I think so many of us don't take the time to practice having fun. And that is quite literally the process of getting to know yourself on your instrument. I got a couple of young guys that I kind of like talk to, mentor, like they want to do like, gigging, things like that. And they ask for advice. And especially when it comes to like drum lessons and things like that. And it's always like, oh, can you teach me how to do this? Can you teach me how to do that? And I'm like, yeah, I could teach you how to play like those people. But like, what do you gain from that by learning how to play like Spanky? Like, that's cool. You can play like Spanky. But now can you play like you? And too many times there are people who can't play like them. And that's because they practice being someone else. You know, I think it's fun to practice all the like the licks, all the modern licks that everybody could do. Like, I wish I could play like Matt Garska. Like, get out of here. I wish I could play like Larnell Lewis. Come on, not human people. But the way that they became pioneers is by simply being who they wanted to be. And when they showed up to practice, they showed up for themselves. You know what I mean? They showed up with the intent of being uniquely them whenever they possibly can behind the drums. And, you know, I have friends that are like that. It's really hard sometimes for me to put myself in that sort of headspace too, of like, you know, I'm just here for me. But then when you do get those moments, don't take them for granted. Because those moments are the moments where you've understood who you want to be, who you want to become. And you may not realize it in that moment, but that's what's happening. Now, for this, there's a method I learned, and I'm not even going to take credit for this. I'm probably just going to link to the video right here, because I learned this method from Rod Beatdown Brown, and he definitely is an influence of mine when it comes to tuning drums, in terms of tuning bass drums. Now, I used to tune wide open like him too, just to see if his tuning method worked for maximum thumpification. Like, go watch the video. It's funny because like that's what he said, but like it's a very useful video. I'm not gonna go all through that because that's pretty much the method I'm using for this right now, and I'm eyeballing it because I really want to get into like playing drums too. Because like I said, I have things I need to do. He said, tune it flat, then tune it back. Judging by how many people in the comments have commented about Yamaha drums. I think y'all all watched this video, to be honest, because he's a Yamaha player, and like that's one of the ways I kind of came back to Yamaha, was like, oh, whoa, this dude is playing like cherry Yamaha drums. It's kind of crazy. Whoa. And they sound good. Ooh, all right, give him a shot. But there you go. My intent for buying these drums was to have a, first of all, beautiful blue drum set. Second of all, a kit that I could use for serious matters that sounded different, but also something that I could use for me that would inspire me to play better, if you will. Play different than, you know, what I have been playing. Like, the Tamas are cool. By the way, I am selling those Tama drums. But those Tamas, they're cool. I love them. Love the way they sound. This is just a different chapter. I like the way these sound. I like some of the other things that Yamaha has to offer. I can't wait to like really explore, because I've never really explored drums before. But like, all in all, I really wanted to like get that out, put that into the world. Because like making these videos is fun, but like there's a lot of pressure, I feel like sometimes, that I put on myself, because what I want to do, or my intent, is to give you something that is valuable, that looks really great, that also like, I don't know, it's fun. I don't know. That's my intent. But I guess the only way to achieve that goal is to practice. And the only way to practice is to keep making these videos, I guess. Right? And also not procrastinate practicing by making these videos, because I have not yet sat down behind these drums. But that's okay because I only just put the pillow in there. So now we got to see what it sounds like with the pillow in there, right? Yeah. So all I did was put a D6 inside of the bass drum. Like, it's just sitting on the pillow. That's it. That's what you're listening to. Well, in this SM57 right here as well. That's what we're listening to. And it's all being run through a mixer right over here. And that's going straight into my phone. So, like, boom. Like, there's a little EQ because I kind of mixed them together. But, like, that's it. So, well, first of all, that John sounds nice. All I did was put a D6 in there. It's about a fist's length away from the batter head. I didn't change the batter head. It's just the stock batter head on here. Sounds good. And then, it's the D6 mixed in with this SM57 running through this Yamaha MG06X little mixer, so a little 6-channel little mixer. Got a little bit of a little EQ on the Kickington, on the Mikington, right? This one, right here. Like practicing intent, like yeah, like I really care about making these videos for y'all. Like we've covered that, but in terms of like practically, like what can you take away from this? Well, I am about to write a Serious Matters record. What does this have to do with you? Well, the way that I intend to practice is the way that I intend to record, as opposed to the way I intend to perform, which are two different things. So being creative within confines, which is basically the form of the song, versus just being free because you've already written the song, it's two different things. I have to come up with the song. So when I sit down to practice, my intention is to not only to push myself creatively, but to come up with things that fit the song musically, that don't take away from what we're trying to convey. So songwriting and drum part writing is a big part of how I'm going to approach my practice. Now, you might not be doing that. You might just be, okay, what does this have to do with me? Everything that you do should drive you closer to your intended goal. That means you're guided by that purpose that you've created, whether it be personally, like you think you have a purpose. Well, everything you do should line up with that purpose. It's like a mission statement, right? And I think oftentimes we as drummers get lost in how to prompt ourselves as well when we sit down to practice. So we get lost, or we say, I don't know what to practice, or I don't know how to practice. Now, it's very simple. You sit down. You could just sit just like me at your drums. You don't have to do anything. You could just sit here and think about, the sounds you hear in your head. If you're a person like me, I can hear, all right, cool. If I want to play that, then how do I play that? And then eventually, ooh, my left hand is weak. Now I'm practicing triplet. You're practicing with intent. See what I did there? It's very simple. I started with something, and then boom. I offer those things to you as something to think about. When the next time you sit down behind your drums, like just sit down and just like really like look at your drums. And then like from there, like really fall in love with this craft again, if you're someone who's been doing this for a while, or like really remember why
you fell in love with this in the first place. If you just started and you feel discouraged. But like, we all love drums, but we also need to love ourselves playing drums. And if you don't like what you sound like playing drums, there's an issue. Hopefully you got something out of this video. I very much appreciate all of you. If you couldn't tell, I very much appreciate all of you that have subscribed. Hopefully, if you have not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you get notified when I post a video. I promise I will be on time. My new Yamaha friends, thank you for having my back. Thank you for supporting me on my journey. And I will see you all in the next one. Later.